Shalom everybody, and welcome to Translating Hebrew. This is week number 7. If this is your first time seeing any of these Hebrew classes, you'll probably be in a little over your head at this point, but I have on YouTube the beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes that lay the groundwork for getting to this point. And you can find those on YouTube at the Passion for Truth video channel. And in those videos I include the links to notes that go along with them, so you can follow that. The notes for this particular class, if you've forgotten, can be found on theregathering.com. Okay, so it's www.theregathering.com/page/PFT Hebrew 4. And we are on week number 7. All right, so vocabulary for this coming week. Hine is he, nun, he, and it means behold, exclamation point. That exclamation point is correct and should be included. Hine is an exclamatory, oftentimes an exclamatory kind of remark. We don't say behold so much in modern English anymore, but what it basically means is look here, okay? Pay attention to what I'm about to say. And it's used in the scriptures quite a bit. I don't have an associated category of word with it because modern dictionary, at least the one that I have, doesn't include hine. So I don't know what part of speech it's really considered to be, but it's used all the time. It's basically just it's what you say before you want someone to pay attention to what you're going to say next. So, behold is hine. Shin Lamed Kaf. It's a kaf.
In the whole passage, it's all in the shape.
Oh, I miswrote that. You're right. That is not a final kaf. That is supposed to be a chet. Thank you. I don't know why I wrote that like that. Shin Lamed Chet. Correction. Yes, it did. That is a verb that means to send or to stretch out. The idea is to extend. Okay, so it can be extending a limb, or it can be extending extending a message via a person. Thus the term shaliach, which is Hebrew for apostle, or just in general to send someone or something somewhere else. Okay, as an extension of you. Shalach. Ma is a pronoun that means what. Ma can also be an interrogative if you start a sentence with ma. Okay. It is also the language of goats. But goats say ma, sheep say ba. But anyway, but ma means what. I intended to get to interrogatives at some point, but I never did. But ma is the most common interrogative, followed closely by mi, which means who. So if you know those two, you know most of them. But and it can also function as not just as an interrogative, but as a pronoun. Okay, what standing for an object of some sort, or a situation, or we all know how to use the word what. So I don't think I have to go into great detail on that. Hebrew uses it the same way as English does. Ko, kaf, he, is an adverb. Toar hapoal, a describer of the verb, okay, also known as an adverb. And ko is usually translated thus. It can also be translated so. The idea is kind of in this way, or thus said, this is what he said, or this is what he did. Okay, so ko is thus. We see that a few times in the passages from today. Lod, lion, vav, dalet, is another adverb. And lod can be variously translated more, still, or again. Again is used more often, but if someone is standing and then later on they are they're standing od, okay, lomed od. It doesn't mean they're standing again, it means they're still standing. They're continuing to stand. Lod has the idea of continuation. And Lod?
My eye is being nailed to the door.
Well,
Get out!
but yes, you'll see Lod when it it is an adverb, so it'll be attached to a verb, and it has the idea of a continuation or a repetition of an action. Or all right, let golam, another adverb, and olam on its own came to mean world. So a lot of the Jewish prayers, okay, Melech HaOlam, king of the world or universe. Yes, Lolam Haba, another Jewish term, the world to come. But Le'olam doesn't mean to the world. It actually means forever. Yes, so that could be variously understood as to the ends of the world. Golam itself, a lot of times, sort of indicates into the unknown or past what you can see. So that's kind of the idea of the world. It's bigger than what you can see. So let golam, okay, beyond what you can see, or in the sense of time, that would mean eternally, forever and ever.
So,
Okay.
Olam being used as the world, is that a completely modern convention, or is that...
I don't know. I don't know if golam being used to represent world is something that's used in the Bible, or if it's something that came to be accepted in Judaism, or if it's something that, you know, was in ancient Hebrew and just was never written down in the Bible. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. I don't recall seeing olam being used for world in any scriptures that I've read, but I haven't read the whole Bible in Hebrew either, so and I don't have perfect recall. So, but the phrase let golam is used repeatedly in the scriptures, and it always has the connotation of forever. Yeah. The Bible actually very infrequently refers to the world as a whole, or to the planet Earth or the cosmos or anything like that. Yeah, it's a lot of the Bible is centered around actually the land of Israel, and so when you see the term the world or the land, okay, ha'eretz, it's usually referring to that land specifically. So, not to say that it never mentions anything else, because it does, but it's not the focus of those 66 books. So. Yes, Adamah, which means soil, is another way of affectionately referring to the land, because Adamah is fertile soil that you can grow things in, and Eretz is just a country, So, but Le'olam, as a whole, an entire unit, as a phrase, is an adverb that means forever. And you'll see this again and again. Okay, Zion, Kaf, Resh.
That's right.
Yes, that is right. Is a verb that means to remember. And you may recognize this set of letters in the term Zachar, which means male or masculine. That's the name that we ascribe to masculine nouns, or to masculinity in general, is Zachar, Zachar and Nekeva. So male is an adjective. It can also be a noun, a masculine noun, naturally, which can, a male, but it can also be an adjective, so I've indicated it as an adjective. And zecher is a masculine noun that means a memorial. Okay, something that's there to invoke memory, or to memorialize, to commemorate. All words from the same English root, so kind of redundant to say them all, but anyway, this brings up an interesting question, which is, why is the noun male associated with the verb to remember? That seems a little unusual, and the reason has to do with Hebrew culture. The male is the one who carries on the family name. So your firstborn male, or the male who has the birthright, is the one by which the Father will be remembered, because he carries the Father's name. So that's the gist of the association there. It's not that the only people who are remembered are male, but it's that the males are the ones who carry on the memorial of their fathers.
That's why you show us line is always on the males.
Right, that's why genealogies are always given for the males, and why it says God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, Abraham had more sons than just Isaac, and Isaac had more sons than just Jacob. But that, and Jacob at least had daughters. But
It's just funny because now you can't make all the y'all unless it's your mother's side that was.
well, right. There's all kinds of intricacies that get into determining which tribe you're from and whether you're, that's all. Well, anyway, that is what it is. But the association between being male and being remembered is one of carrying on the family name. Okay, you're causing the name to be remembered. And then finally, dor, dalet resh, is a masculine noun, and it means a generation. And this is a term that you'll see used very frequently in Genesis, and very frequently to introduce a story about a particular family line. Okay, so these are the generations of so on, and sometimes a genealogy will be given right after, but sometimes there's no genealogy given right after. It just goes into a story about that person. Okay, so this dor is a term that isn't always literally generation, but it's more actually tied to the idea of the memorial. Okay, this is what will be remembered about so and so. Okay. All right, so any questions about any of these words before we proceed? No? All right. Well, let's see. Whichever side I erase is the side that I'll need to refer to the most anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. And, all right. The verses we are looking at today are in Exodus chapter 3, verses 13 through 15. So, once I flip there, so this, just to put this in a little bit of context, of course you can read the chapter leading up to this, but this is where Moses is talking to God, and God is appearing to him in the burning bush on Mount Horeb. So God has just commissioned him to go confront Pharaoh and free the Israelites from Egypt. So verse 13, Vayomer Moshe el ha-Elohim, Hine Anochi va el bnei Yisrael, ve'amarti lahem Elohei avotechem shalachani aleichem, ve'amru li ma shemo, ma omar aleichem. All right, so let's break this down. Vayomer is a phrase we should be familiar with now, a word we should be familiar with. All right, Yomer would be the future tense, third person masculine singular for the verb aleph mem resh, which means to say. Okay, so Yomer would be he will say. Vayomer is inverting the tense, so it's and he said. All right, Moshe. Okay, Moshe is Moses. Yes, it means to draw up. It's debatable whether it means that in Hebrew or Egyptian, but whatever the case, that is the meaning, because he was drawn out of the water. Vayomer Moshe, so, and Moses said, El is our preposition to. Yes. Vayomer Moshe El ha-Elohim. So we're familiar with Elohim being God, and this is ha-Elohim, putting the definite article in front of Elohim. Yes, this is at the burning bush.
You just think there's a God inside that bush because he was talking. Jupiter came down and struck down the attack of lightning. Okay, he
Now,
was under the impression that Ra had come down and was now manifesting himself in the bush because they're all.
no. Ha Elohim, okay, it seems a little, okay, in Genesis 1, which we went through, God is referred to just as Elohim without this ha in the beginning. It doesn't specify the God, it just says God. We know God, Elohim, is singular because of the verbs attached, okay, simply as rules of speech. This is a singular noun. So what's up with the definite article in front of this? That is partially a question for theologians and partially something that we can answer grammatically. The only thing that you can specify grammatically from this is the God that's talking to him from the bush. Okay.
The God.
Yes, the God. Okay.
God.
And so he's not. It's just kind of specifying this is the God that's been talked about all along in the chapter. Okay. Why it mentions it here and doesn't in other places in the chapter is a great question.
It's in verse 11, it says, Ha Elohim.
Well, there are other places, but not every place. There are other places where it is lacks the definite article. But this is a term you will see, and this does refer to God himself. Okay. Because God is not a name, or I should say Elohim is not a name. God in English is a name with capital G. But Elohim is not, strictly speaking, a name. It's a title. And so it'd be like saying the king. You know, king is not a name to be prefaced by the. It's a title. Right? It designates a position. So, and incidentally, well, he's about to tell Moses what his name is, and so it's not necessary for this to be a naming convention. But this is a phrase you will see, all right, referring to God as the God. And there are probably some deeper implications theologically, but in terms of whether it's necessary or not necessary grammatically, it's permissible grammatically, okay, but not necessarily required.
God refers to himself as Elohim, or Elohim. So God's letting him know, no, it's Elohim, not Ha. And no shape is saying, no, it's Ha.
But so
He thinks it's Ra, he does.
So Moses said to God, to Elohim, Hine, behold. So pay attention to what I'm about to say, or look. Anochi, pronoun I. Ba, this is a word that we've encountered before. And this is the present tense of the verb bo, which means to come. So, hine, anochi va, behold, I am coming, okay, el b'nai Yisrael, to the children of Israel. B'nai, if you'll remember, banim is sons, and so b'nai is the construct state of sons, which means sons of, okay, or children of, because son doesn't have to necessarily refer to a male.
Are you saying that females are supposed to wear CC?
I am not saying that. What I am saying is that yes, it is, and every single commandment is that same verbiage. Yes. So,
I'm confused.
well, what I am saying is that since the masculine is the default, it doesn't mean exclusively masculine in many cases. And so the translation children of Israel, I think, is just as appropriate as would be sons of Israel.
Well, since this is the first encounter of the name Israel, we should interpret all the other encounters as children, right?
the son carries on the name, and but anyway, but this is a phrase we've encountered before, B'nai Yisrael, the children of Israel. Okay? So Moses says, I am coming to the children of Israel. V'amarti, I need a third hand here. V'amarti. Okay, we recognize the verb root here. It's the same as vayomer. Okay, aleph mem resh. Our T ending indicates first person, past tense, singular. And our vav inverts our tense. So this would be, amarti would be I said, the amarti, and I will say. All right? So we understand that from the pa'al conjugation. So, hard to see with the small print. Okay. I am coming to the children of Israel, and I will say, lahem is to them. Okay, this is our prepositional prefix lamed with our third person masculine plural suffix hem. So I will say, v'amarti lahem, to them. Okay, and them is referring to B'nai Yisrael, of course, because that's the plural noun that we've just encountered in this sentence. No. Elohei avotechem. Now we've encountered Elohim with pronominal suffixes before. So terms like Elohecha, Eloheinu. And this is just Elohei. So this is Elohim in the construct state. The God of. Okay. So Elohim is God. Elohei is God of. Because Elohim, because the ending is in a plural form, even though it's not a plural word all the time, the construct state takes on the plural construct form. So it's Elohei instead of some other change that a construct state could undergo. So it looks just like B'nai, same ending. Elohei avotechem. This is a $10 word if you've ever seen one. All right, so what are we to make of this word? This echem ending, we can parse out right away as being a pronominal suffix. Okay. Echem, okay. Chem is you, masculine plural. This yod in front indicates that we're dealing with a plural noun in front of this, okay? So whatever is possessed by you is plural. Avot is the plural of av, which means father. Remember, av is a masculine noun, but it has an irregular plural form, avot. Okay, normally feminine nouns would end in ot, but av as a masculine noun ends in ot. It is, in fact, yes, very, very much irregular. So avotechem, fathers of you, or your fathers. So Elohei avotechem would mean the God of your fathers.
There's no ha.
There is no ha, but it is in the construct state, so the definiteness is implied.
There was a ha earlier, and they didn't mention that. We're still in
Well, you could translate earlier. You could say the God. Moses said to the God. That would be appropriate. Technically appropriate. It wouldn't be the best translation, but that would be a terrible translation.
It's singular.
Well, The only reason it would be a terrible translation would be because Elohim is used in the singular elsewhere in the chapter. If it were not so, you couldn't derive whether it's singular or plural.
But you're trying to create
So.
a doctrine by just telling people who don't know the rules of grammar.
I'm not trying to create any doctrine. I'm simply putting things in their grammatical context. And what interpretations people wish to derive, they are certainly free to do. So.
I'm just saying there's a lot of people who derive these interpretations. I'm being the devil's advocate.
Oh, yes. Yes, I know. But anyway, so hine, anochi va el bnei Yisrael, ve'amarti lahem, Elohei avotechem. Okay, so behold, I am coming to the children of Israel, and I will say to them, the God of your fathers, shalachani, shalachani. Okay, this is our verb to send. So this is our third person, masculine, singular, past tense. So he sent. And the ani ending is our pronominal ending on a verb, okay, that's indicating the direct object of the verb. Okay, ani is I or me. So he sent me. So the God of your fathers has sent me. Shalachani. Alechem. Alechem is the preposition el with a pronominal ending. Okay, so el means to. And echem is you, masculine, plural. All right. So this is to you. And you'll see these, we've seen it before, but you'll see it time and time again where you've got a preposition and a pronominal suffix directly affixed to the preposition, or to the prepositional prefix.
The vowel change under the aleph there, is that because of the suffix, or is that because it's on the mode? In the verse, the aleph has the second. The aleph is the second one.
Yes. Normally, okay, why does this vowel change occur? That's a good question. That gets into something I didn't talk about to everybody, but we have talked about. Because this is a three-syllable word, it can, and the last syllable is the tonic syllable, it can undergo propretonic reduction.
Okay.
So that would reduce this vowel to a shva, but you can't have a shva under the aleph, so it has to take a hataf vowel. It's probably gibberish to a lot of you, but there is a reason that the segol that would normally be under the aleph in el changes to this chataf patach.
Why is patach instead of chataf kamet or a chataf second?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that. For some reason, the chataf patach is preferred in many, many instances. So, but that is what this is. It is a preposition with a pronominal suffix directly attached.
Could be way late.
Okay.
Way late. We work better in New York.
So, so I will say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you. The Amru.
They will say,
Yes. Breaking it down. The Amru. This is again our Aleph Mem Resh root, which we can identify. The U at the end indicates the past tense, third person, masculine, or not necessarily masculine, but plural. Okay, so Amru would mean they said. The Amru inverts the tense, so, and they will say. Li is another prepositional prefix with a pronominal suffix added. It means to me. Okay, so li is to me. You also see lecha, to you. Okay, lanu, to us. Lahem, which we just saw earlier, to them. All right, you see this kind of thing all the time. So it pays off to know your pronominal suffixes very well and your prepositional prefixes very well, and know how to combine them all together and to derive those different forms, because you'll encounter them again and again and again. Okay, so Moses is saying, look, I'm going to the children of Israel, and I'm going to say to them, that the God of your fathers has sent me to you. And they're going to say to me, all right, I'm putting this in very colloquial language, but it's kind of the idea here. They are going to say to me, Ma Shemo. So Ma is our interrogative what? And Shemo, okay. O is our pronominal suffix, which means him or his. So that leaves Shem, which means name. So Shemo is his name. So they will say to me, okay, the Amru li Ma Shemo. What is his name? So Moses is saying, you're going to send me. I'm going to come to the children of Israel. I'm going to say, the God of your fathers has sent me to them, has sent me to you. And they're going to ask a very logical question. If the God of our fathers has sent you to us, what's his name?
It's a riddle.
And so, Moses' question is, Ma Omar Alehem. Okay, Ma again is what? Omar. Now we know instantly what root this is. It's the same root for say that we've been seeing all along. But this is an unusual form that we've not encountered before. The reason this looks weird is because this is a verb. The verb Aleph Mem Resh belongs to Gizrat Pei Aleph. And Pei Aleph is usually not that strange of a conjugation, but in this case it is. This happens to be the future tense, first person singular form. So I will say, Omar. Normally there would be an Aleph prefix, but instead of having Aleph Aleph, that combines the two Alephs together. Yes. Yes. And so I have not included that Pei Aleph chart. Forgive me for that. I have had a busy week, but that is what that is. All right, it's Binyan Pa'al or Binyan Kal. First, the Gizrat Pei Aleph. There's a Gizrat Pei Aleph, and this is the major change that Pei Aleph induces, is this merging of the Aleph prefix with the Aleph that's the first radical. So Omar, I will say. So what I will say, or what will I say, because this is an interrogative phrase. Alehem is, again, to them. Again, this is a preposition to, with ahem being the third person masculine plural pronominal suffix. So what will I say to them? All right.
What childishness we show.
All right. So, Vayomer Moshe el ha-Elohim, and Moses said to God, Hine, Anochi ba el b'nei Yisrael. Behold, I am going to the children of Israel, or I am coming to the children of Israel. Ve'amarti lahem, and I will say to them, Elohei avotechem shalachani alechem. The God of your fathers has sent me to you. Ve'amru li ma shemo. And they will say to me, what is his name? Ma omar alehem. What will I say to them? So, verse 14, we have God's response. Vayomer Elohim, and God said, El Moshe, to Moses, Eheye asher eheye. Eheye is our first person, future tense, singular form of the verb haya, which means to be. So eheye means I will be. Asher is that, or which, or it can be interpreted what, if it's what in the sense of that or which. Eheyeh asher eheyeh. I will be what I will be, or I will be that I will be. Or I will be that which I will be. Okay, whichever English way you wish to, not eheyeh asher asher, eheyeh asher eheyeh. I will be what I will be. Now, this is normally translated I am. But grammatically, that is not correct. And the tenses in Hebrew aren't absolute. Okay, there's not an absolute past tense and absolute future tense. Okay, in modern Hebrew there is. In ancient Hebrew they're a little more dynamic. So it's called the perfect tense and the imperfect tense. And sometimes you can translate those variously into the present tense. Okay, sometimes the perfect tense can be translated as a present. Sometimes the imperfect tense can be translated as a present. So how can I stand here and say that eheyeh here cannot mean I am? Well, the reason I can say that is because up in verse 11, the term eheyeh is used. And it cannot be rendered anything other than I will be in that verse. So there is no reason to assume that it would be something different here.
I will be with you. Oh, I can. I was with you.
Okay. So for those interested, read verse 11, find eheyeh in it, and come down to verse 14 and tell me why this should be I am, but 11 should be I will be. Okay, doesn't make any sense in context, and we should always defer to the future tense interpretation first unless there's a good reason to render it present tense. I would argue that there's no good reason given the context of anything going on here, because this is all talking about when Moses goes to the children of Israel. Okay, it's all talking about a future event, and Moses and God are sort of struggling over this, all right, and kind of discussing how this is all going to go down. It's kind of a one-sided discussion, basically. Moses complaining and God saying you're going to go anyway. But it's a very, very glib way to put it. But this is all talking about in the future. And so God's not saying I'm with you now. He's saying I will be with you when you do what I'm telling you to do. All right. Clearly God's with him now. He's talking to him face to face in a bush that's on fire. Okay, but this is talking about that he will be what he will be. Now, this is also an interesting thing because this is God's first response to Moses when Moses asks him what is his name. And so God says to Moses, I will be what I will be. Vayomer Ko. Okay, and he said, and then we should include an invisible quotation mark before Ko. Ko Tomar. Now that is the second person, masculine, singular, future tense. So thus you will say, Livnei Yisrael, to the children of Israel, Eheyeh Sholachani Aleichem. Eheyeh, or I will be, has sent me to you. So that is God's first response to Moses when he asks what he should tell the Israelites what God's name is. Okay, Eheyeh has sent me to you. Eheyeh asher eheyeh. I will be what I will be. Now, theologically, you can make of that what you will. I don't want to get too much into that. In the context of the whole chapter, the idea seems to be that God is expressing himself as the provider of Israel. So I will be whatever I need to be. Okay, he's saying you don't have to tie me down to a name of a deity or, I'm the one who is delivering you from Egypt. That's my identity to you at this point. But I don't want to get any deeper into theology than that. But in the context, just taking it all as a story, that seems to be kind of the idea of what's being gotten at here. And lest there be any crazy doctrine that spins off of this that says God's name is not actually Yahweh, it's clarified by the next verse. So verse 15 picks up, Vayomer Od, and he said Od again, or he said further, or he continued to say, all right, or he said still, Elohim el Moshe. Okay, so God further said to Moses, Ko tomar el b'nei Yisrael. That's the same phrase we just saw. Thus you will say to the children of Israel, Yahweh, okay, which is the name of God we're all so familiar with, Yod-He, Vav-He, Elohe avotechem. All right, that's the same phrase we saw before. The God of your fathers. Elohe Avraham, Elohe Yitzchak, Velohe, actually, Yaakov. Okay, Sholachani Alechem. So Yahweh, Elohe Avotechem, Yahweh, the God of your fathers. Elohe Avraham is the God of Abraham. Elohe Yitzchak is the God of Isaac. And if you don't know Isaac's name in Hebrew, that could really throw you for a loop. You probably recognized Avraham, because it sounds very much like Abraham. Yitzchak, just as a short aside here, is the name of Abraham's son Isaac. Yitzchak, it's a real interesting word to pronounce. Takes some practice. But this can really throw you for a loop if you don't know it's a name, because Tzadi, Chet, Kuf means to laugh. It's a verb that means to laugh. So Yitzchak is the future tense, third person masculine singular, which means he will laugh. That's what Isaac's name means, he will laugh. It's, well, Sarah laughed when she heard the news that she would be pregnant, and Abraham also laughed later, not in the same context, but Abraham also laughed when he was told that he would have a son. He was, but there's one time that he laughs. It mentions Abraham laughing. And so Yitzchak, his name is a memorial of that laughter that Abraham and Sarah had upon hearing they would have a son. So this does not mean he will laugh most of the time that you see it in the scriptures. Most of the time it's referencing the name of Isaac. All right. So Elohe Yitzchak is the God of Isaac. Velohe, which is just the Vav prefix in front of Elohe. So the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Yaakov, which is Jacob. And again, Yaakov is a name, not a verb, most of the time. Yes. Ayin Kuf Beit is usually rendered something like grab the heel, but it seems kind of strange that there would be one verb dedicated to the idea of grabbing a heel. It has more to do with the idea of tripping somebody, okay, or deceiving somebody.
But Abraham, Yaakov, a new wife. What translation is we got there? Is she somehow, did he swing with her off?
Yosef.
Yosef. Oh.
Yosef, he added, yes. Joseph's name is much nicer than Yaakov's. Okay, one big reason that Yaakov's name was changed to Yisrael, which is a much nicer connotation than deceiver. But here he's referred to as Jacob, as Yaakov. Okay, so Ko tomar el b'nei Yisrael. Okay, thus you will say to the children of Israel, Yahweh Elohe Avotechem, Elohe Avraham, Elohe Yitzchak, the Elohe Yaakov. Okay, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Hebrew does list the same way that English does. Okay, all right, Hebrew has invisible commas, but we've got visible ones in English. But then we've got an and before the last item in the list, and so does Hebrew. Okay, Sholachani. Okay, he sent me, Alechem, to you. All right, the same Alechem we saw before. All right, and then, after just revealing his name to Moshe, God says this, Zeh Shemo Le'olam. Shemi, I'm sorry, not Shemo. Zeh Shemi Le'olam. Zeh means this. Shemi, okay, is shame is name with the the pronominal suffix e, which means my. So this is my name, le'olam, forever. Okay, this is my name forever. And v'zeh zichri ledor dor. And this zichri is our noun zecher, which means a memorial, with the pronominal suffix e, just like on shimi. So this is my memorial, ledor dor. Now this is a funny phrase. Yes, now this, we've got kind of a, I'm not sure what the technical term is, but two parallel phrases here. Okay, it's two phrases that are using different words but saying the same thing. Yeah, perhaps a parallelism. Okay, I don't know what scholars call these things, but it's a common theme in any literary work, and the Bible certainly no less than any other, uses these themes. So zeh shemi le'olam, this is my name forever. V'zeh zichri, this is my memorial, or how I will be remembered. Ledor dor, for generation, generation. What does that mean? It's kind of a funny phrase. One possible rendering would be for generations of generations, or generations upon generations. We don't have a preposition in front of our second door, and so that makes it a little awkward to render it anything specific. What you can say because of the parallelism is that it has something to do with forever. Okay, it's a parallel idea with forever.
In fact, that door wasn't pluralized or something. It's not like trying to emphasize it.
Right, yeah, there's no plural on it, so it's hard to say, generations upon generations. But ledor is a phrase that you will see elsewhere in the scriptures, and a lot of times it's used in a similar context to le'olam. Okay, but dor meaning generations. Okay, this is my name forever. This is my memorial for generation. The idea is, kind of, this is how future generations are going to remember me. That's kind of the gist of what's going on here. I can't give a specific interpretation of why this says ledor dor instead of some other set of prepositions or prefixes. But the idea is parallel to the idea of le'olam. So that much we know. There may be a really great way to interpret that, and some scholar may have come up with that. I don't know what it is, and I was not able to find it. But what we definitely can say is that it parallels this idea because these are parallel clauses.
I like to think that they just have this understood to generation to generation.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kinds of phrases that were commonplace in ancient Hebrew and are not commonplace now, and so we have to kind of reconstruct them or what they might have meant. It's just like if people had tape recordings of things spoken in English today and watched them 200, 300 years from now, and try to figure out what a homie is. It'd be rough. It'd be kind of rough. And you go, well, that's etymologically similar to home, and well, boy, what does But you'd have to understand some things about subcultures, various cultures of America, and or I'm not just picking on that particular subculture. I could have chosen anything, okay, or various pieces of British slang, that we Americans don't understand at all, are the same way. It's the same language, but we just don't get it because it's not something that we use locally. And so this is the same way. Certain phrases die out over time. They're just not used anymore. This is likely one of them. Ledor dor is probably something that people knew what it meant when it was said or written at the time, but today it's a little bit obscure. So,
I think it has something to do with the context, talking about God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I think what it's saying is, guess what this name was passed from Abraham? Isaac, Jacob.
yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's probably what it's hinting at. Is there's this repetition of ideas up at the top. Now I'm repeating it at the bottom, just differently. So it's kind of, this is how I'm remembered through the mouths of those who come generation to generation.
That's a good point. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were just mentioned, and if you read their stories in Genesis, this door phrase appears in conjunction with those characters numerous times. So the idea of continuing, from the legacy of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob into this future event, or this exodus that's about to transpire, that's a good link there too. So for their generations and the current one, okay, there's all kinds of ideas that are kind of implicit in the text. It's difficult to have a literal rendering of the phrase. So
there are people who believe that the name of God has been really secretly passed down through Jewish heritage from generation to generation for those who were, in the know or whatever.
mm-hmm.
So that would make sense that, okay, people have made mentioning of his name in order to remember it.
Right.
Family line of family line.
Right. Yeah, and just a quick comment on the term name, the term shame. It can mean the combination of sounds that is used to refer to you, but oftentimes its scriptural usage is more related to how somebody is known. Okay, what they're known for, what they're known by, their reputation, and so. And your reputation is established by the things you do. Okay, you're known for what you do, and so that's part of when Moses is asking for his name, he's asking for a series of syllables to present to the Israelites, to express which God he's coming on behalf of, and God's response, he does actually say his name. He gives Yahweh here later, okay, but that's not the first thing he says. The first thing he says when he's asked for his name is, I will be what I will be. In other words, my name will be established by what I'm about to do. Okay, and he proceeds to give Moses these signs to give the Israelites that confirm that he came from God. It's not enough for Moses to come and say, I know the name of your God, so you should listen to me. It's not a magic word that all of a sudden, oh, well, he must be a prophet because he's saying God's name. No, it even says later in Deuteronomy, people will come and speak in God's name and be lying. Okay, but the test of the prophet is if what they said comes to pass, if God actually does what they said he was going to do. That's the test that they were sent by him. And so that's the test of Moses here, and that's, in a sense, what God is telling him is, no. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to do everything that's necessary to make this come to pass. You don't have to legitimize yourself. You don't have to establish your credibility with the people. I'm going to do that for you. And that's what Moses is concerned about. Why? They're not going to believe me if I come and say that God sent me to free them. God says, no, I'm coming to free them. So that's part of the whole context of this, surrounding his name is God's trying to convey that he's identified by what he's doing. So, any other comments or questions about verses 13 through 15? Okay. Still stuck on Ha Elohim from before. All right. Well, next week will be week 8, which will be our last week of translating Hebrew. So, be wrapping things up. So, looking forward, sort of bittersweet, looking forward to that. It'd be nice to have a little break for a while. But anyway, we'll see you then. Shalom.